Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry. Let's see what's going on. It's not frozen. Yeah, this is just on Mooncast. John Karony is going to be in the Mooncast today. So I figured that is worth recording. It starts in 7 minutes, so I could turn music on, but I figured it's not really worth it, unless you guys want to listen to a song for 7 minutes before they start. So yeah, it's confirmed that John Karony will be in the Mooncast today. If you guys want a chance to talk to him, you might be able to go into the Discord and get called up on stage and ask John a question. Sometimes they do that. Sometimes he just pops in and pops out. Wow, the brain has two sides. When you hit 1 cent or $1 this year or 2030, dude, I don't know, man. How would I know that? What's up, guys? I got my V1 ready for the moon, guys. Here, I'll switch to the Discord, guys. That's where it's happening, is in the Discord. Sometimes John drops some knowledge on us, and you you don't want to miss out on that. Hey, Stacy, good to see you. How's it going? All right, let's go ahead and capture. Come here. And we're just going to go to Discord. Everybody's freaking out in Discord. And there we go. And we're in. And John Karony himself will be in here today, guys. If you guys are trying to ask him a question or something, it's a perfect time to go up on stage. Try to ask Mr. John your questions, guys. Thank you so much, SafeMoon Godfather. I appreciate that. Hey, Mitch Bromwell. Hope things are cool with you, man. Were you at the space station or something in one of your pictures recently? Also, other Evergrow holders here. Both will be big in the near future. 3030 is when we moon. Am I jogging? No, I should. Hey, what's up, Sean Coons? How's it going, bro? Stacy, yeah, huge shout out to Stacy. She's awesome. A couple more weeks left on work and you can focus on being my mom. Oh, okay, cool. They don't do AMAs as often, so, luckily I haven't needed mods as much because, SafeMoon and Evergrow stopped doing AMAs. Those are the AMAs that I cover. We got Dark Moon Tim in here. He's pretty cool. We got Momo, very cool person. Esley. Let's see who else I know in here. I think that's all I know, actually. Hey, what's up, Steven? How's it going, bro? No, John will be here, yeah. Cats and Vino have this every week. But John doesn't always pop in, but John is popping in today. He already confirmed that. So I might go up on stage. Shout out to Ecoloco, El Ecoloco, huge supporter of mine. Okay. So what are you predicting? As far as what, Godfather? I don't know what he's going to talk about today, but sometimes he'll drop pretty good information. No, the Mooncast is about to happen. You've got 3 minutes before it starts. Hit the like button. Thank you so much, William. I appreciate you. Shout out to William McLaren. Blockchain, will our wallet addresses change? That's a really good question. No, because when the blockchain launches, it'll be, I think it'll be its own token, its own coin that's a 1-to-1 ratio with the SafeMoon token. If I understand correctly. If not, someone can correct me. But basically, the blockchain, the SafeMoon we have now will be 1-to-1 ratio with the blockchain token, so it won't matter. CC, hope you're well. Thank you. Sat here wondering what I was going to do this evening. Yeah, I don't usually record these. Katz is a really cool guy, but if John's coming up, then I'll definitely record it. Maybe throw it into a video, depending on what kind of knowledge gets dropped. And I can raise my hand and ask a question if you guys got good questions. There he is. There's John. I'm gonna turn down that music because it's copyright and it's loud. Shout out to Vino, he's a really cool guy. Got Mr. Adult, Gandalf, Cats Are Us, Vino, Captain Hoddle, Timon. Hold on for dear life. Sat here when I was going to do look great. Thank you for that answer. You're welcome. Thanks for the stream, brother. No problem. Get ready for the captain's log. Yeah, I'm not going to listen to the music because it's copyright, and I barely make any money off YouTube anymore. Should be starting any second, though. No, it's about to start. If anybody's just tuning in, it's about to start. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Really appreciate that. Helps get more people in here. 6 months ago, I know, right? Remember we used to do AMAs every Sunday? Maybe
Good
Ryan.
evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 31 of Mooncast. We're making our way onto a year of episodes, which has definitely been a fun, 7 months now for Mooncast, so we're definitely getting on up there. How's everyone doing? Gandalf, Benno, Mr. Adult, and also John.
Hello.
I didn't lag out, did I?
Okay.
I was wondering if Benno was switching his audio and was going to turn up. No one wanted to talk over each other.
It's like my audio just like faded out, but yeah, I'm doing good. Hello, everybody. Hey, John. Good to see you here. And
Hey.
it is a great Sunday. I'm tired because moving stuff with my girlfriend in, but I'm here and I'm happy to be on Mooncast and actually the special episode here. This is wonderful.
Perfect.
Back to the circle of politeness, not trying to talk over each other.
Well, all of us are trying to give Cats the reins as well, because ultimately it's the Mooncast is Cats is the helm of this this spaceship.
Yep.
Now I have a microphone.
There he is. We were all waiting for Venno, really.
Yes, it's all a stall tactic. No, I'm
Perfect.
trying to have a better audio setup, so that's a little easier to shift over, and it's actually harder. So I have to go back to the old setup now.
You need a stream deck. Just one button. Done. If you know what a
That's
stream
told
deck
him.
No shortcuts. I gotta make things the hard way.
Okay, perfect. So today is a normal Mooncast. Don is here. Don is here to hang out and just answer as questions as they may appear. But as always, we'll recap the week, go over what's happened over the last 7 days. And yes, my 7 days starts from Monday to Sunday, not Sunday to Sunday. So we start from Monday and work our way through. So in terms of just the overall week, nothing too major, because I know the team are ultimately building up and planning for the router upgrade and upcoming cross chains that everyone's looking forward to. But before we move on to sort of any updates relating to that, we kind of ended last week with yourself, John, ending up or finishing off South by Southwest. So how was it? How did you feel the event went, and what did you take away from it?
Can't hear you.
Oh no.
Oh, technical problems. All right, we'll carry on with
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can now.
yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep. Am I here back? Am I back now?
You're back.
Okay, what did he miss? The whole thing?
Yeah, didn't hear a
Yeah,
word.
pretty much. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, I was saying I had a really good time at South by Southwest. Kicked it off doing a podcast with some of the worst jet lag I have ever had. So hopefully I sounded coherent. Apparently I did. So, but I was running on autopilot at that point. Got some caffeine in me, and then continued out the first day. Met some amazing, wonderful people from a variety of different industries. A lot of them are revolving around crypto and tokenization, DAOs, NFTs, etc. But met some really, really amazing people. And just for clarification, Grid Daily House. So South by Southwest was kind of a thrown together kind of Austin style event for the longest time, and then they've kind of morphed into this larger thing. So Grid Daily House is definitely more of the retro vibe, but it is a very serious publication. And there was a lot of big name people there that I got to meet and talk with and exchange ideas with. So it was a fantastic day. So, and then on the second day was SafeMoon Saturday, and we sponsored that event, and it went really well. I did more panels on that day. I think it was 4 or 5 back to back. Getting either grilled with questions or interviews, or just talking about some things that SafeMoon is working on and how it kind of feeds into the rest of these different industries. So it went really well. So I had a really good time.
Perfect. So that's the main thing. It was a success, and you
Definitely
kind of brought. Well, that's the thing, though, isn't it? It was more not just about just being an event. It was what you may not realize is networking. A lot of it was the networking side, and you've met a lot of new people, and hopefully those people become more than just acquaintances, shall we say. So perfect. So we finished off last week with South by Southwest. So then we moved on to pretty much the first thing at the beginning of every week, which is SafeMoon Labs. So SafeMoon Labs, again, is Gandalf's baby, so to speak. So every Monday, he runs a Twitter space, anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour, depending on the topic that he's looking to choose, which this week, Gandalf, you did a space on?
Liquidity in DeFi, especially liquidity pools in that kind of case. And it fits a theme, right? Because we're talking about everything on liquidity and how liquidity pools works and how this route and stuff. So I talked about this, which is already uploaded on the SafeMoon Education YouTube channel. And for the actual next week, I have a different topic because we have the SafeMoon birthday month. And I want to just give out one of the older spaces, which was way before we have SafeMoon Labs, which is diversification of your crypto portfolio, why this is important. And especially because we have our partners on board and having this big swap with all the partners, I think this is a perfect kind of idea to bring that up, especially for newer people to look into diversification of their portfolio.
Perfect. So that is this coming, tomorrow. And what time were those again? I always forget the time.
Well,
These
this
times are
is
confusing.
this is an older space, so it will be uploaded on Friday when we just uploaded that. So there's no live presentation on this.
Yes. Okay. Right. Yeah.
One
No,
from
that's
the
my bad.
archives.
It's the archive one. I thought you were running it.
Exactly.
Okay. So that's just coming up this Friday on the YouTube channel. So anyone that's watching on YouTube right now, you can subscribe and you'll be able to get a notification for that this coming Friday. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, and just I know that I think you covered it when you recorded the original one, but just to check, That isn't a financial piece of advice. That is just about
Oh,
might
no,
possibly
no.
be the pros and cons of
Yes.
diversification.
Exactly. So in this kind of way, just to give a little bit of a sneak peek, it is talking about why diversification of a portfolio is important and why you shouldn't put everything onto one source. While a lot of people saying that they're like all in into any kind of crypto, maybe SafeMoon also, but it's also on talking about the effect of having a portfolio like a stock portfolio on the back. And a lot of people who are new in crypto don't know that it is actually also important to diversify the money, whether it's in normal investments or in liquidation or in any kind of stacking possibilities.
But it's not financial advice, just to be very clear.
Absolutely. While
No.
it is not in crypto, but no.
Yeah.
Big red warning at the beginning. So if you are watching it, it will cover you. So yeah, it's just strictly. Oh God, hello.
Yeah, you're still here.
You're still
There you
here.
go. No, I was loading on my side. There we go.
Okay, you're good.
Perfect. So, speaking of Gandalf's Twitter space that he did this week for SafeMoon Labs, he actually did it on liquidity, which is why we're now on to an important reminder to those that still have LP within the SafeMoon LP providing system that is on SafeMoon Swap. So if you have provided LP, you need to go ahead and remove that before the 22nd. So you've got 2 days left to do that before your essentially investment is at risk. We can't confirm what will happen after that, because ultimately the contracts that are storing your funds will become unsupported. So if you are providing any LP to any of the pools, go ahead to the SafeMoon Swap and remove them. There was an update to the SafeMoon wallet, which now fixes any issues that were kind of holding people back. So go ahead and do that before the 22nd, because we don't want you to lose your funds. Right. So overall, beyond that, there isn't too much that happened this week other than the nice little birthday present. Was it yesterday or the day before? I've lost track of which days it is. Is the KYC screenshot that SafeMoon was hinting at, and what that all alludes to, and by means the minds went wild with what this could be. So, is there anything we can share on that, John?
Yeah, so that is an actual screenshot from the UI design that they're right now coding in for the SafeMoon centralized exchange. And just so you know, we have a decentralized exchange, or a DEX, which has been in existence since last year. We have a centralized exchange, which requires more regulatory items and other processes that have to be put into place. There's been a lot of back-end work going into this, a lot of boring stuff that a lot of you guys don't really see. But we're really excited about moving forward with this. And yes, that is from the SafeMoon exchange.
Perfect. So, from the SafeMoon exchange and obviously the regulations side of point of view, have we kind of nailed a majority of those things? Is it now we are in build mode for that kind of thing? We're not being held back.
Fox?
Bonjour. Yes, we are in build mode, is the short answer to that. We have a very interesting birthday month. We're not turning the exchange on this month, to make that very clear, but there's definitely going to be more to see before the month is out.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be a good one. And yes, the SafeMoon exchange is underway. At the actual tech aspect of it, we got the regulatory compliance side to a certain point in which we can continue forward, and we'll talk about it here shortly. So,
Perfect.
And that really is the exciting bit of it as well, is that there's three distinct aspects that take place with this. One is planning about what you want it to be as a product. The other is about planning how it has to be built from a code perspective. And then the piece that I guess people sometimes roll their eyes at is the regulatory and compliance piece. But it is really hard to understate not just how important that is, but what difference that will make for the future scope of such a platform. Making sure that that isn't just right to get going, but that it has the maneuvering room for where it needs customer service. Like, it's all very well to turn something on, but you need to be able to support it. So there's a lot of other things that are starting to be finalized now. And making sure those are all in play means that we're going to release something great and support it brilliantly and make sure it grows, rather than just, get something out to meet the, be as quick as possible. Because it's very easy. I kind of covered this in the video at the beginning of the month, but it's easy to do something. It's not so easy to do the right thing. And it's unfortunately takes a bit longer, but the fortune comes later. From the kind of, you can be happy about the product, you can be happy about how it works, happy about who gets to enjoy that product, and as many kind of destinations as possible. You've got to think about the fact that regulation and compliance isn't some kind of global tick box, right? It happens per country, per state, per county. There's these multiple layers to it. So there's an awful lot that goes on. It's not just filling in a form and saying thanks for that. There's a lot more than just forms as well. But we're really fortunate that we have an amazing team that work really hard to go beyond the kind of the basics in terms of what we need on that front, so that we have the flexibility to then evolve the product to all the dreams that we have. Once we're out the door. So it's an exciting time ahead of us for it.
At least that now clarifies anyone's mysteries of what people were thinking it from Connect, Card, and everything else that's associated with a KYC. So that was the main thing, to kind of simmer people down a little bit and let their minds not run as wild as they may have been running. So, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. I was just breathing. My mic caught it.
How dare you?
Perfect. Right. So the only other really big thing that happened this week was an additional partner, which, close to my heart at least, working with animals, was Portherium. So another great partner, and it was also something that I think Hayden, I don't know if he spoke publicly about it or where he said it, but I caught a conversation with him that it's aiming for more of the products or partners that are going to do well in terms of giving back, and it's not so much about just a gain. Use a specific term, but I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's more picking partners and we're doing their research and investigation on them to see what they're about, with an actual goal in mind of an actual objective than just starting a token. So anyone can start a token, anyone can copy and paste some code and launch a token within 5 minutes, but it's about the actual real progression of the project. And Ethereum and many of the other partners that we have on the swap at the minute and will continue to grow is about an objective and what they're trying to achieve, which the team's been doing a phenomenal job with some of the partners. Now, some of them people may not have heard of, and that's fine, but it's about learning who's out there and how big the DeFi space and crypto space is. And it's not just always about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the big boys that are at the top. It's about the smaller projects that may be doing a phenomenal job. So great to see that more partners are being added. Well, that was that. And then there was also, then speaking about the sales team, we've got Jonas heading to Ninja Warrior. So please tell me
really?
That is. Please tell me we get some
he
photos of that.
No, I'm not in Austin anymore, but you should be able to see him compete. I told him, you better bring home the win.
I saw that he tweeted he was off to some TV thing, but I didn't know it was Ninja Warrior. I thought that was just a hilarious guess.
Well, Jonas is actually he's about the size of Charles, except more muscle. So we're like Charles V2, kind of thing. So we're very excited for him to go do that. And I told him, you best bring home the win.
I've no doubt he will. He'll charm everyone, and then in a nice way, in a very humble way, and then just run across that course faster than anyone's seen, or fail in such a spectacular fashion that we'll all enjoy it with him. But I'm reasonably confident he'll do all right. Do we know, is that live Ninja Warrior? Is that like pre-taped? How does that work? Do we know? I
think it's pre-taped. I'm not 100%
it's gotta be, right?
sure.
That would be a hell to put people through doing that live.
Oh, yeah.
It better not be like a 6-month thing where things are recorded for 6 months and you don't see it until like Christmas time, though. That'd be annoying.
Well, it's something to look forward to. Little Christmas present of Jonas doing Ninja Warrior would be great.
Oh, Mr. Adult, you and I didn't I film something that said it was going to be released like eventually?
There's probably at least 2 of things like that. Yeah.
Ooh.
So
Is
we'll
that
see.
a Christmas present?
No, a Christmas summer present. It was like it was a big deal. We did it. But they're like, yeah, it'll be released, and I'm like, when? Oh, you'll find out. And it's like, okay, great, we'll find out when we find out. So
it's not all the dice aren't always in our hands on a lot of these things, which can also bring frustration. And in fact, it's a good opportunity to just sort of acknowledge the fact that we've got a long list of stuff that we'd planned for March. That list still exists. It's just moved by about a week or so. There was a bit of a gap because part of it is always about making sure we've got all the boxes ticked, right? Because we can't just throw stuff over the wall, but it's still coming. So we're kind of gearing ourselves up to focus on the fireworks at the end of the month, which we talked about. So there's still plenty to look forward to, and I appreciate it's been a little bit quieter than originally planned. That said, we have things like South by Southwest come up. We've got the router upgrade. We've had the MoonPay 0%. What else have we got? Oh, we've got
the Dex upgrade is a big thing. So for me, I use the products too, and I was really excited when I was like, we need to have bridging capabilities, but let's take it a step further and just have cross chain. Where if I have Ethereum and I want to go to BNB, or I have BNB and I want to go to Ethereum, you can do that with SafeMoon being the middleware for that. So I'm really excited for the Dex upgrade. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's going to be not just good. It's like it's a real foundational step forward. And the team and Ryan, they've been working so hard on maturing the feature set. Is probably the best way to phrase it, in a way that really does look many steps out from where we're trying to be right now. And I think that's really the message that tends to come from us for the whole community. I think it's really easy for you to stay like you've got your nose pressed against the screen, right? Not a chart, but like the screen of crypto is an hour every minute, right? We're just kind of living and breathing it. And especially with the SafeMoon army, it's a 24-hour amazing extravaganza of people just enjoying each other's company and having thoughts about what might be possible and looking at what's going on in the world and the news and events. And so it can be really hard to just kind of take that kind of Zen breath and just step back a little bit and go, what is the real big picture? What's the bigger play here? And it's very easy to feel impatient. And we have a bit of that. We even know what's coming and we're still impatient because we want everyone to be enjoying what's going on and what's going to happen. And it's really easy to say that as well. As I say this, I can almost hear people going, yeah, but we've heard this loads. It's like, yeah, you have. We're nearly there. And we don't use the I word. And I'm reasonably confident that as we get towards the end of this month, even if everything isn't necessarily in your hands, and there will be some stuff, by the way, but even if everything isn't, it will be more tangible. It will be less, hey, we're on the way with it, and more, here's what we're on the way with. And I think that will help a lot. And even just this screenshot that we posted recently with the KYC, immediately people could start to feel that things were more real. And that's really where we're getting to now. And that was a big piece of the the video at the beginning of this month where it talks about moving into the delivery phase. That is where we are at now. We've been through a lot of the planning. We've been through a lot of the growth. And now we're getting into the delivery. And that's the best way we can evidence what we're up to, is actually getting things into people's hands. And don't get me wrong, we've got amazing stuff already out there. The wallet and the swap being 2 key pieces of all of that. And as the ecosystem has the final piece, not the final pieces, but the next pieces fall into place, I think it's going to be a lot for everyone to start not just getting excited about, but starting to dream about or understand what's next. And those bigger picture pieces are the bits we really want to get on with. And it's kind of like how Apple does a lot of what they do. They put technology into things like their phones, which are destined for other devices, whether that's like the Apple Watch, for instance. All these different sensors and pieces of technology are kind of road tested in other places, and people don't necessarily notice or understand that's why they're there first. And then they get to draw on that learning and the technology and the ideas that they've built and put them into the real destination. And that's kind of where we're at. We've put a lot of things in play, but we haven't necessarily put them where they're meant to be just yet.
See, so that's one of the things I took just listening to that. You mentioned about the Apple Watch, and that was something that a lot of people didn't realize they needed. So, could SafeMoon development with the technologies that they're bringing into life be something that could be considered a mainstream part of global daily use? Would you put it that way?
Well, yeah, I don't know if I would dare speak on such things. It can be kind of egotistical to assume that's where it's going to head, but there's definitely ambition. And so the Apple Watch, if we want to kind of run that example a bit further, the sensors and technology they've got in there, from the motion to the computing power, a lot of those things are actually destined for the kind of Apple glasses, the VR, AR things they've got coming out. And that's been maybe 8 years in progress. And it's that kind of long-term view about you test bed something in one place, which is destined for another, because you're almost waiting for technology to catch up. That was a big thing with the iPhone and the iPod. The technology hadn't caught up for that or the iPad, so Steve Jobs kept kind of just dismissing it, saying, no, it's not what it needs to be yet. The responsiveness of being able to swipe across a screen and have the icons be under your finger, not lagging behind, was a huge piece of where it needed to get to. And I think there's a famous thing where he threw the iPod into a fish tank and bubbles came out, and they went, well, that's how you can make it smaller. So there's all these little details which go on, which no one else really pays any attention to. And honestly, I could understand why most people wouldn't care. But it's the culmination of all those pieces in the final thing that you get to experience that actually makes the difference. You know, you can spin up a website in a day. Doesn't mean it's the right website. The thought process that goes into it and the assembly and the detail. And you can see it in every kind of product line in the world, really. You think about a car, right? You buy a budget car and you can maybe hear some rattles and there's not necessarily nice stitching and all that kind of stuff. And then you go and get into a whatever, £1 million Mercedes or whatever it is, and you feel like you've sat in the most luxurious hotel room of all times. And that isn't to say it should be materialistic, but I'm just saying that care and attention and the space to be able to put that kind of care and attention into something does make a difference. And it's the sum of those parts. Sky Cycling were a great example of that. Rather than trying to come up with the one way they could do better, they said, how can we make everything we do 1% better? How can we make 1% better oil on our chains, 1% better chain tension, 1% better tires? And all of those things added up, and then they went on to be a massively successful team. And so that's that kind of position where you could be focused on one thing of, well, what's the point of having a slightly better chain? You have to zoom out and look at the whole bike and understand all the 1% that are being added. And I think crypto, technology, software, the kind of tech that we're looking to develop, there's a lot of similarities in play there. And that's why we keep mentioning an ecosystem. It's the sum of the parts that will pay off in the longer term.
Perfect. I think you nailed that one. So in terms of moving forward, let's move on to the bigger thing that's happening this week, which is actually going to give a lot of community members a break. It's going to give them a chance to just go and take a two, maybe 3 days. Is it going to take 2 days or 3 days? The whole upgrade process. We know how long roughly?
I mean, it should be less than that. I think there's just a window of time that's been allowed.
Okay, so we've got a certain period of time where everyone can just go take a break, because the community is so active. The community is constantly going, so we can all take a break. But talking about the upgrade itself, it's more now, I just want to ask, is in relation to what actually comes with the upgrade than just what I consider it to be the operating system, so to speak. Instead of just upgrading that, what comes with that? What softwares are installed on the operating software? So I think Ryan's mentioned some things like, obviously we got the cross-chain SafeMoon. Does that come with the upgrade?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different pieces coming together all in one. There's a lot of back-end stuff that we did that's kind of like the boring stuff, but it makes it more efficient. And then cross-chain is the big one that's coming. And for us, that was one of the most important features for there, because a lot of times you have to go to have to attach to or approve transactions on dApps, which does open up some security issues there. But with this system, you won't actually have to go to any other application. You can just stay within the SafeMoon wallet. So we're really excited about that. But yes, there is going to be a brief period of time where we're going to have to take it down so we can do the full migration over.
Perfect. So just to clarify with that is that because they're taking everything down, all trading on the SafeMoon swap will stop. So technically, SafeMoon is the only one that you shouldn't be able to trade in terms of from a blockchain point of view. Now, you can still go use exchanges if you want to go use exchanges, and all the partners, if they're used on any other swaps, you can go and use them. So you're not completely locked out. It's just the swap itself has been essentially frozen. So don't panic if nothing's going through and you're trying to do it, because there'll be notifications everywhere to let you know. So
yeah, we'll
Yeah,
make
it's just
sure
like with
there's
any other software that you use or any exchange that you use or any DEX that you use. When it goes through an upgrade, there's going to be quick downtime, and we're aiming to make that as seamless as possible. So we're very excited for this upgrade. It's going to add a lot more additional features and usability to the existing SafeMoon wallet.
But so sticking on the cross-chain upgrades train, but staying away from dates because we don't like dates. Do you know which change you're looking to add next to the cross-chain?
Yeah, so right now I'm looking at Avalanche and Polygon for the next ones. But then again, we're always open to hearing other ideas and hearing what the community wants. But what I've been hearing is Avalanche and Polygon. Well, Polygon then Avalanche is what I'm hearing right now in terms of chains.
Okay, so that'll definitely give us another entry to NFTs, at least for Polygon. That's pretty cool. Brill, I think that's covered the week overall for this week in terms of everything that's happened. Like I said, it's been a quiet week, but there's big things happening in the background. So let's jump into some questions.
It's been a quiet week for others. It's been a very, very busy week for us. Quite the opposite of quiet, you know.
Indeed.
You can probably hear some exhaustion in my voice, but we're excited.
How many hours sleep have we had?
what is sleep. I'm literally getting emails today that have got like titles in saying "Do not open till Monday." Of course, I'm opening them. So you know we're non-stop, but loving it as well.
I'm like, don't open till Monday. You're good. So.
Okay, perfect. So let's jump into some questions. Got one or two questions here, and then we're going to open the floor as normal. So there's one or two that came up that we wanted to mention. Was this week, John, you mentioned something about ROI, and to any normal average trader, they would know that that is essentially return on investment. But you meant it to be something different. So could we clarify on what you meant by ROI?
Yeah. I spoke about this at South by Southwest, and you can find the recording. But it means return on impact. It's a paradigm and focus shift from the monetary return to an impact return. Meaning, did we have the effect we set out to have? The example that I used was wind turbines, because some people there were not blockchain focused, and so that's a pretty easy metric or a measurement for them to understand. So, and I used the wind turbines when it came to ROI, as it's easier to understand than trying to explain some complex blockchain mechanics and tokenization mechanics. But basically, it's return on impact. Did the turbines, by installing the system that the turbines support, did we have the effect we set out? Did people receive the benefits that we wanted them to have, versus did we receive an X amount of return over the next quarter? So it's more of a paradigm shift and a focus on the impact return and not the monetary return.
And you're doing that with everything that you do, essentially.
That's with everything, yes.
Yeah. Perfect. So if something doesn't work and it doesn't come out to be the way they planned, we can always go back to the drawing board and try something new. So nothing is ever out of the question.
There's a marketing book I can't remember the name of, and I feel horrible, but I'll try to get it to you so you can include it in the lowdown that goes out. But basically, the singular thing it breaks down to is hypothesize, test, pivot, and it's that kind of cyclical nature of looking at things, understanding what's going on, but making sure you change something that's critical rather than just sticking your heels in and going, no, that's what we do and that's the way we do it. And it can seem really short-sighted, but it's actually quite easy for a majority of businesses to get stuck in that because they see enough success that they go, well, that's now the way we do things. And I'm sure most people will have heard, well, that's how we've always done it in certain circumstances as well. And we're not necessarily looking for whether it's the perfect impact or not great impact. It's what impact is it, and now how can we do more of it? It's always about, I think John was mentioning this as well, about like the 10-year future version of SafeMoon. That's the competition. And so if we just stopped and went, yep, that looks good enough, then we're not going to move anywhere and we'll never catch up with our future selves. And really, you should never catch up with your future selves. That's kind of the beauty of it. I used to do this when I was racing. If you get to the front of the grid while you're racing, you then are racing yourself. You're trying to catch yourself around the circuit, which is impossible, but it means that you're still kind of chasing something that moves you forward. And so that's really exciting. As you know, I've been fortunate enough to be more and more involved with what goes on within SafeMoon as an organization, is that there's always this completely relentless drive on trying to do more good, not just more, because more can be very sort of selfish, right? It's not about wanting more, it's about doing more, and there's a very distinct difference between those two things. And so kind of what I would class as the last generation type of company, it's all about how do we acquire more and do more, whereas we're about how do we put out more and share more. The other bit just kind of happens as a byproduct of that, and that's quite humbling in some ways, but also it can be unnerving because you're forcing yourself to look at metrics you wouldn't normally look at and measure things in ways you wouldn't normally measure. But it comes with the huge benefit of not being pressured by the things that normally pressure you. And that allows you to make the decisions that make a difference instead of the decisions that you feel forced to make. And that doesn't always mean they're easy decisions either. I'm sure plenty of people can attest to that. But long term, it seems to work out, and we'll keep driving at that. It's super exciting. Very fortunate to be part of it is the short story.
Perfect. No, like I said, I'm excited to be a part of it, and I think everyone else is. That's within the SafeMoon army. We all want to see the end goal. What is complete? What is the foundations when they're all set and dry, and we're just then creating technology that adds to that foundation. And now we've already all had hints as to what that the additional features that add on to that foundation, but we all want to know more about that. So perfect. Well, I think that's all the questions.
Very quickly, just a quick time check with John. Are you still all right for a little while? Are you hanging out? What's the score?
I got 5 minutes.
Okay, cool.
5 minutes. Okay. Let's see. Let's bring one or two guests up, and then we will. Well, that should cover it because I'm sure these questions will be for John. But let's see. Crypto Ghost, how are we doing? Oh,
I'm laughing a bit here because the silence was like the noise a ghost might make, so it just made me laugh.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hey,
not too bad.
I got a quick question. Trying to hear you guys. For some reason on my end, I'm not. I think it's just my mic. But my question for John is: have we ever, once the exchange is up, thought about doing something with yield farming?
Yes.
done.
Thank you so much for your question. Great answer. Very short answer.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else to kind of expand on that. We thought about it, but we're focusing on some other features that we are prioritizing more before we go into something like yield farming.
And also, since obviously the CEX is going to be coming in the future, do you anticipate hiring quite a bit of people for a customer service type? Because I see a lot of exchanges, that's where a lot of companies are lacking, is the customer side. So
HR has a hiring strategy that they're implementing right now. So,
sweet.
yes, we
That'll
are
be
focusing on customer service.
put us on the next leg up for sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
I literally had conversations with some key people for that in the last week. So yes, customer service is a big shining light that we want to make sure we do a good job of.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you, Cut to Ghost.
Thank you.
MKY, how we doing?
Hey, yeah, it's Mike. I'm the blockchain developer at Potherium, so thank you for the shout out. I had a quick question. I saw earlier in the week there was talk from John about the different consensus protocols you were looking at for the SafeMoon blockchain. Could you maybe just explain what that meant in plain English? Because I think there were some folks who were asking questions about witnessing and like all the different kind of ideas you threw out there.
Yeah, so I was just having a discussion on like kind of the development process and the planning process. So we were exploring what different kind of consensus algorithms and validation nodes, whatever you want to call it, would work with the hardware that we're trying to implement, because it's a multifaceted asymmetric problem that we're looking at. Which I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but I was just talking about basically some of the stuff that we've been working on in the back end. Rather than saying, oh, we have committed to this specific thing, because there is a hardware component. Because a lot of blockchains that kind of get just thrown up on AWS, which is a very centralized thing. So what we wanted to do is also have the ability to decentralize our hardware. So that's kind of what we're looking into, which then leads into some, schools of thought. It's like, well, if you go with a more robust system where you're actually having to store more data in a single location, well, now your footprint's going to look a little bit larger, which means it's going to require more energy intensive tools. So maybe it's 2 to 3 wind turbines versus just 1. But if you go with a different kind of consensus algorithm, look, not saying we're doing proof of work, but proof of work is very power intensive. So if you do something like proof of work, well, it's going to require more energy. Now, if you do something like proof of stake, well, it's going to require less energy. And so what does the actual physical footprint of a node that is essentially off-grid and not tied to centralized things look like? So that's kind of what I was going into, was the different ideas that we were exploring around, and even down to the like a similar system to what Helium does with proof of coverage. We were looking at something like that in regards. We kind of threw that one out of the window because it doesn't really tick all the boxes. But it was a fun brainstorming whiteboard session, and then like a slight experimentation that we did.
Very cool. Yeah, thanks for your answer. Longtime supporter of SafeMoon, so really happy to be part of the family now. So thanks again.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. So do we have, or you can tell me no, but do we have a concrete of which one you've decided on? Do you know internally what you've decided, or is that still ongoing conversation?
That's an ongoing conversation right now. That's not the hard part. Like these things are very well known already and how to implement them. We're actually just working on the hardware, and the bigger thing is, what does the footprint look like for us? And then that brings in supply chain and other items, some waterproofing or weatherproofing certain items. So that's what we're currently working on and looking at, not the actual software side of the house. But we should have an answer regarding that soon. It's not like it's really a delay or causes any kind of stress in that regard. We just have to test the software with the hardware. Okay. And we're working through that. So that's where we're at.
Sweet. Let's jump into some text questions. Okay, so the first question is always about my hair. My hair is fine. I'm still a porcupine. So it's long enough that I can spike it. So we'll get in there. Let's see. Are you able to tell us the fee breakdown benefits to the SafeMoon from the cross-chain swap transaction? Okay, so the easiest way to explain this is essentially when
real quick, I do have to run. I want to thank everyone for coming on the the Mooncast, and I'll try to see you guys on the next one. Thank you, Cats. Thank you, Mr. Don't Make. Thank you, Gandalf, for doing this. Means a lot to the leadership. It means a lot to the team, and I'm sure it means a huge. It means hugely for the community as well. So thank you. I'll be signing off. Sorry to interrupt. You guys all have a great day.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. Thank
Thank you for
Right.
being here.
Appreciate you choosing to spend some time with the community. It means a lot. Thank you.
Yep.
Perfect. So in terms of the fee structure and the way the cross-chain feature is, essentially is you're going to be paying the gas fees to essentially the chain that you start on, and then the chain will do everything in the background to then get you to your chosen destination. So you're paying the fee initially, whatever the fee is. So if you're going from BNB, it's a few dollars. If you're on Ethereum, well, then Ethereum is whatever their fees are. If you can tell me exactly what their fees are, any given status, you can check the gas fees. But you start with them, and then the fees associated, if you're talking specifically what goes back to the ecosystem, whether there's any 2%, 5%, 10%. I don't think we have concrete confirmation as to what fees they've settled on. Do we have concrete for their actual swap fees?
As far as I know, no, not yet.
Trying to see if I've got it written down. No, I don't have a concrete set for the actual percentages of the actual transaction fee yet. But as soon as we get that, we'll announce that. But we've still got a couple of days before that, comes out and people start using the cross chain. So that'll be out there before anything else. Let's see. It is confirmed for 2%. Okay, we had someone say it is 2%. So if it's 2%, 2%. If not, either way, you'll gain clarification in due course. Let's see. Is there any potential SafeMoon card could have different levels, perhaps related to very percentage of cash on purchase like crypto.com? Don't know if there's been talks with that. Has been talks with that, Mr. Adult? It's in the blockchain.
Probably muted. Low.
Okay, I don't think he's there at the minute. No, not to my knowledge in terms of any different levels. I know the card's on its way. So in terms of any different level structure for sort of cashback or, cheaper transactions or whatever, I'm not too sure right now. But we'll have to wait and see what they come out with on that. Now, I know a lot of these questions that we've got written down are for John, and I know that he would be able to answer them better than I can. But like I said, any questions that he had today that we can't get answers on, I do collect them, I do build them, and as we can answer them, I'll share accordingly. So if I can't answer them, you still will get an answer either via my Twitter or however we can get the answer out there. Let's see. Any plans into future secs adding stable coins like BUSD on Binance called SUSD for SafeMoon Exchange? So with any sort of chain, when you deal with financials, you would always want a stable coin just for stability, because you kind of got to pair your even though like with the likes of Bitcoin is always paired with USD of some kind or Ethereum and so forth. So there's always got to be that stable coin where the value of the coin is there. So there would be some sort of stableness to SafeMoon's price, because right now, if you have a look, we have two. We have BNB and we have BUSD. So when we move to our own blockchain, there's going to be some stable coin associated with it, whatever you want to call it, SFM USD or SUSD or however it is. So there would be some sort of stable coin associated. In terms of any updates to Mandala, so the last update we had from Mandala is essentially SafeMoon side and Mandala's side was absolutely fine. They were ready to go. It was just a problem with the Binance Cloud that wasn't ready for global tokenomics, and they've essentially now put that into their weekly sprints. So once they get to their sprints, they'll be able to knock that out and get that technical issue hammered out, and they said estimating between the first and second week of April. So that was the last we had from them. So if
I have
there's any
something
issues,
hot off the presses for you if you want it.
Ooh.
It's not nothing like that. No, just related to an earlier point about Ninja Warrior.
oh, okay. I was like, wait, are we getting an announcement?
Well, the incredible Hayden has messaged me to say you can let the community know Ninja Warrior for Jonas will be released in the summer months.
Oh.
Basically, I'm thinking like a live watch along Mooncast special or something. That's what's in my mind.
See, I would love to do that, but Discord needs to hurry up and allow us to stream video.
Oh, I just meant we all
while
like
on the
tune
stage.
in wherever we need to tune. We wouldn't necessarily stream the visual, but we could all
Watch
be like,
together.
a watch along, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose, but still, I would still love to have be on stage. I suppose it's me just trying to treat this stage like an actual podcast room where people see us, and if you want to be on camera, you can smile at the camera, and
Well, we could
and
always
be able
take
to
it to
share
YouTube
stuff.
for one time or something.
I suppose that is definitely an option.
Anyways,
but yeah,
there you
no,
go.
that's
Hot
great.
off the presses, but
In the
we
summer.
do like to deliver the latest breaking news.
Well, you were in the
Amazing.
press room because you missed my question.
Oh, what was that?
Yeah, just related to the card. Has there been discussions of any tiered system cards at all?
Oh, there's been a million discussions that you wouldn't even imagine. With regards to tiers, be very clear on that. It's possible it won't be out the gate. We're really trying to make sure, we are making sure that we get something great out and that everyone will be very happy with. And then we worry about those kind of the leveling up of those things in the future. Because we don't want to delay things. Otherwise, we would put all our amazing ideas now, and that's what a lot of places call scope creep. You start doing a lot of stuff that actually it's great, but maybe not right now. So yeah, everything's on the cards, pun intended. But we will probably look to make that a bit more of a community engagement piece. So we don't just go, hey, here's what we came up with, and it could maybe not be quite what people wanted. We'd rather make it a discussion, a bit more collaborative around how the products evolve. So I would say the first version of all these things we're doing, it's get the first version out, but then it's talk to the community and understand where it should evolve to. Because we would never really want to be so arrogant as to think that we know exactly what everyone wants. That's bonkers. And we're in a really unique position where we have such an amazing community that just kind of lives and breathes with us, that it would be silly not to have those conversations and go, well, what do we build around your needs? Which other companies and organizations would absolutely kill for. And because we don't look to farm data, that's like the wallet or whatever, we don't look to the traditional sort of paths that companies might do for their insights and their analytics. We make it far more conversational. And that arguably makes it much more human, right? You actually hear not just the, shall we say, the top line summary of what they might like, but why might they like it? And more importantly, what impact might it have on them if they had it? And we found that a lot with some other conversations that are going on behind the scenes around extensions to products and partnerships, which as those come out, I know people will start to see the evidence of that showing up. And I really believe that that's going to be a huge differentiator for us, because we're not trying to get the most, do the best. It's not about winning in that sense. It's deliver the most impact, make the most sense. And I know that only once products and services and things are kind of in people's hands will that start to catch up. But that's where we're aiming. And we're very nearly there now. It pains me not to be able to shout about lots. I've got like hundreds of things on a Trello board that I just want to put out, like through marketing and conversations. But we know we need to wait, because if we haven't got the things delivered, everything we put out is just going to be, but when this, when that. So we're focusing on the whens first.
Perfect. So just relating to the tiers, so it kind of fits with the question, what are the differences between the tiers of the swap partners? So you'll see on the actual partner page of SafeMoon.com, we finally got that, which was great to have, is